You drop a glass. It shatters into dozens of pieces. And not once in your entire life have you ever seen those pieces gather themselves back up into a glass. You remember yesterday. You don't remember tomorrow. The coffee on your desk goes cold and never warms itself back up. Your face ages and never gets younger. Always in the same direction. Always. And you think you know why. That it's just what time does. It flows forward, end of story. But look closely, because behind that one obvious thing sits something that keeps physicists awake at night. Nothing in the laws of physics tells time to run forward. Not a single such law has ever been found. And yet you can't undo one single thing you've ever done. So why? Why does everything move in only one direction when nothing is enforcing it? Take any law that governs every particle in your body. They all share the same unsettling feature. They work in both directions. Film two billiard balls colliding and play it backwards. What you see will still perfectly obey physics. There's no way to tell which version is the real one. In those laws, past and future are indistinguishable. You can put a minus sign in front of the symbol for time, reverse it, and everything still agrees down to the last digit. I'll be honest. There is one tiny exception, a faint imbalance in the decay of certain particles, but it's so weak that nobody believes it's what cools your coffee. So where does the direction come from? The answer came in the 1870s from an Austrian physicist named Ludwig Boltzmann, and it turned all of science upside down. The direction isn't in the laws, it's in the counting. Take a deck ordered from ace to king. That one perfect arrangement is exactly one. Now shuffle it. There are more scrambled arrangements than there have been seconds since the beginning of the world. So when you shuffle, you don't break any law. You simply land where there are unimaginably more places to land. That's all. Disorder isn't a force, it's a matter of probability. Pour milk into coffee and stir again the other way. The milk won't separate back out. Not because some law forbids it, but because there are astronomically more ways for it to be mixed everywhere than ways for it to return neatly to a single stream. And it's exactly the same with your glass. There are unimaginably more arrangements where the shards lie scattered across the floor than ones where they form a whole vessel. The glass reassembling isn't forbidden. It's just so unlikely that you could wait longer than the universe has existed and never see it once. You're probably thinking, fine, we have our answer. Mess grows, and that's the whole mystery. End of story. Not the end, because here's a trap that was thrown at Boltzmann while he was still alive. If the laws run both ways, the same statistics run both ways. Take your shuffled deck and ask not what comes next, but what came before. The math answers exactly the same thing. It was scrambled before too, because scrambled arrangements are more common, always. Physics, left to itself, claims the past was just as messy as the future, and that's plainly false. Yesterday, the glass was whole, so mess grows on its own explains nothing. It needs one more thing. And that one thing is a single fact about the beginning. The universe started in a state that was absurdly, impossibly ordered. Not that it was small, that it was smooth, spread out perfectly evenly, without lumps. That is the pristine order that everything else could then start falling away from. The philosopher David Albert simply called it the past hypothesis, and without it, all the rest falls to pieces. And the physicist Roger Penrose calculated just how special that start was. He got a number so vast it can't be written down. To write out just the zeros, you'd run out of room even if you placed one on every particle in the universe. Stop for a moment on what that means. Your glass doesn't break because time flows forward. It breaks because a very long time ago the world was ordered, and ever since, everything in it has been falling apart. Cause and effect. Aging. The cooling coffee your entire yesterday. These are all echoes of one single fact about how the world began. Time has no direction, the world has a slope, and you are sliding down it. That leaves the question that bites the hardest. Why do you remember the past and not the future? It seems like a question about the brain. It isn't. It's a question about heat. In 1961, Rolf Landauer, a physicist at IBM, proved something that sounds absurd. That erasing one single piece of information, one yes or no answer, must release a tiny bit of heat. It can't be free. He even worked out exactly how much. About 3 sextillionths of a joule per bit. A vanishing amount, almost nothing, but never zero. For half a century, this was just math on paper. Until in 2012, a team at a laboratory in Lyon set out to measure it. They built the smallest memory in the world. One microscopic bead trapped between two wells. The bead in the left well is a 0, in the right one it's a 1. Then they erased that single bit and measured the heat that escaped. The result landed exactly on the limit Landauer had calculated half a century earlier. Forgetting has a temperature. Now connect that to everything you already know. For a memory to form, your brain has to write down a trace. To write down a trace, it has to release a little heat into the world, add a little disorder to it. And that can only be done while the disorder around you is still growing. That's why traces only exist in one direction. Memories, photographs, scars, footprints in the sand, all of them point into the past because the past is the only place they can be written from. You don't remember tomorrow because it isn't here yet. You don't remember tomorrow because on that side, there's nothing to build a memory out of. You remember yesterday for the exact same reason your coffee goes cold. Your memory isn't a window onto the past. It's a byproduct of the world falling apart. The same goes for the thing that feels most obvious of all. That cause always comes before effect. You throw a stone, then the window cracks, never the other way. But there's nothing in the equations guarding that order. The order comes only from the fact that after an event, a trace is left, and before it, there's none. Shards on the floor, a bruise, security footage. The world is buried in evidence of what has already happened, and there isn't one shred of evidence of what is about to. Your whole certainty that one thing follows from another isn't a law of nature. It's an inventory of traces. Sit with that for a moment. Everything you are, every memory, every scar, every face you can call up in your mind. All of it exists because something is breaking, something is cooling, something is falling apart. Your body, this very second, is giving off heat into the room you're sitting in. You release more disorder into the world than you organize inside yourself, and only because of that can you remember anything at all. You are a machine that buys itself memories and pays for them with its own decay. And now something that shatters the question itself. You asked why time flows in one direction. What if it doesn't flow at all? Try to say how fast time flows. 1 second per second? That's not an answer. It's a sentence with nothing inside it. Einstein showed something stranger still. Two people moving relative to each other won't even agree on which events happen at the same time. Your now and someone else's now are two different cuts through the same reality. In the equations, there is no single shared present moment, and there's nothing that moves. Late in his life, in a letter after the death of a friend, Einstein wrote it plainly. The division into past, present, and future is only a stubborn illusion. So maybe nothing flows. Maybe the world simply is, laid out all at once with one ordered end and one increasingly scattered other. And what you feel as the passing of time isn't time moving, it's growth. The mess grows, the pile of your memories grows, and you mistake that growth for flow. You aren't a boat on a river of time. There is no river, there's a slope, and there's you sliding down it. And here we reach the only part that actually concerns you. Because this isn't a story about a glass or about the universe. It's a story about you. Everything you've done, every word you said to someone in anger, every moment you look back on thinking, if only I could go back, is a shattered glass. And it will not reassemble. Not because you're weak or because it's too late, because you're built from the very same physics it is. You can't undo anything for the exact same reason you can even remember it happened. Your memory and your regret are one and the same mechanism. The very arrow that won't let the glass come back together is the arrow that won't let you go back. There is no separate physics for regret. There's one, the same one, and it applies equally to the glass on the floor and to you at 3 a.m. And there's something in that worth hearing all the way through. This arrow isn't eternal. The world is heading toward a state where there are no differences left, no heat left to give off. And where disorder stops growing, nothing can be written anymore. No memory, no trace, no tomorrow. You live in a narrow window of existence where the word tomorrow still means anything at all. That window will one day close, not with a bang. It will simply go cold. So the next time you break something, the next time you say one word too many, the next time you look in the mirror and see a face one day older, remember that you're looking at the only direction you have. You aren't flowing with time. You are one of the shards falling, and it's the only flight you were given.